Hare Krishna, is everybody able to hear my voice and see my screen?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Haribol, thank you so much. Yeah. So before we start the class, just a small recap of the previous class. And so last class we saw that how we can control our minds and senses, right? So who can control the mind and senses? He's called a Goswami, and people like us who can't control the senses are called Godas. Okay, and people who can control their mind and senses, Goswamis, are such people who can become unalloyed devotees of the Lord. And we also saw in Nectar of Instruction in the preface that this Nectar of Instruction is for neophyte devotees. But initially, it may seem a bit difficult for us and impractical. But if you practice, so anything, in Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says, see, practice makes a man perfect. So keep on practicing, then the difficult things also become easy. But these are the basic instructions that we have to follow as neophyte devotees. Okay, if we practice these instructions strictly and seriously, then we can achieve our highest perfection. That is, we can go back to Godhead. Okay, so today we will start with the first shloka. So Nectar of Instruction is actually written by Rupa Goswami. He is our Parampara Sampradaya Acharya, and he is the primary disciple of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Among all the six main Goswamis, Rupa Goswami is the main, we can say he is the leader of all of them. Okay. So today we'll start with the first shloka, and it's a very, very important shloka. And this shloka tells us that how we can control our mind and senses. Actually, you can even memorize this shloka. It's a very important shloka. And please don't mind, it may take a bit longer today for the class because I have prepared notes wherein it is given in very detail so that you can understand very well. I mean, I think so. I hope so. Okay. So, I mean, like, I just wanted to make it a clear picture so that we can understand better. So, I'll be consulting like the PPT. At the same time, I'll be sharing you the purport. At the same time, my notes also. So, these three screens will keep on switching in between so that hopefully we can better understand this shloka. Okay. So, first we'll start. So, Nectar of Instruction Upadesha Amrita. And so before we enter into the first shloka, please let us take the blessings of the beautiful deities of ISKCON Mangaluru, Sri Sri Radha Govinda Ji, Sri Sri Radha Govinda Ji ki Jai. Okay, so this is Prabhupada who gave us the commentary, beautiful commentaries. I mean, like even if you read Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and then the Nectar of Instruction or Nectar of Devotion, beautiful, clear, understandable purports Prabhupada gives. So these are like a treasure for us. Okay, so we are so grateful to Prabhupada. We thank Prabhupada from the bottom of our heart for giving us such rich, what do you say, literature to us. Okay, otherwise, without which we could not go so deep in bhakti. Okay, and we all are actually called Rupanugas. Okay, the Rupanugas means we are followers of Rupa Goswami. So we all come under Rupa Goswami. So we follow the instructions of Rupa Goswami. So today we'll give our pranamas to Sri Rupa Goswami by giving this Sri Rupa Pranama. So Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. So actually we daily pray to, actually whenever we start any class, we pray to Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami is one among we saw the Mangalacharan, right? We see this line. So we pray to our acharyas, all the Goswamis, to Krishna, Radharani, Vishaka, Lalita, Krishna, everybody, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We pray to all our gurus, everybody, and then we take the blessings and then we go forward in our spiritual practices. Okay. So today this is the Rupa Pranam mantra and what it means. See, when will Sri Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who has established within this material world the mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya, give me shelter under his lotus feet. So, Rupa Goswami was actually born, he was like there literally to to fulfill the desire of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave him instructions to write books to renovate the lost temples. Okay, so these are the two main things Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who has come to establish this mission, so we are actually seeking shelter. When will such Rupa Goswami, he gives shelter under his lotus feet? So we all are Rupanugas. That's why we always, when any spiritually, when we are in any trouble, we should all pray to Rupa Goswami. Please give me the strength. And even Prabhupada, even before going to the US, he was like every day he used to sit in this Radha Damodar temple, and from the Radha Damodar temple there was a small window from which he could see the Rupa Goswami Samadhi. So he always used to cry and pray, and at night he always used to sweep the um, what is that that premises of Rupa Goswami. Okay, the samadhi of Rupa Goswami, he cries, he used to pray. Then Rupa Goswami said, don't worry, you will get all the strength. You will carry on the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Don't worry. So, because he prayed, he got the blessings of Rupa Goswami. He could do all this. The blessings of his Guru Maharaj, he could do all this. So, all of us being Rupanugas, we, anytime we spiritually face any problem, please pray to Rupa Goswami, please pray to Prabhupada. They will give you the blessings. They will give you the strength to move forward. Okay. So he is the author is Srila Rupa Goswami. He is our Sampradaya Acharya. So he was born in a Brahmin family, Saraswat family, pure Brahmin family. Okay. And last class we discussed like how he was the chief secretary for Nawab Hussain Shah, and they met Lord Chaitanya first time. Both Sanatan Goswami, his elder brother, and Rupa Goswami met Lord Chaitanya first time in Ramakeli. Okay, and second time only Rupa Goswami meets Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Prayag for a span of 10 days. Okay, so in that 10 days, whatever instructions Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave came in the form of nectar of instruction. Okay, so and he is also known as Rasacharya. So he is known as the Acharya who can write the mellows of bhakti very well. He's famous for writing the mellows of bhakti very well. That's why he's known as Rasacharya. And his deity is Govindaji. He worships Govindaji. At present, we have a replica of Govindaji in Vrindavan. But the actual Govindaji, because at that time Muslim invaders came and they were attacking, so they had to shift the original deities to Jaipur. So the original deities of Radha Govindaji are in Jaipur, but a replica of the same are kept in Vrindavan. Till date. Okay, and some of the books that Rupa Goswami wrote are Upadeshamrita, Vidagdha Madhava, Lalita Madhava, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So of these, we'll be discussing, like Prabhupada gave us the commentaries for Upadeshamrita and Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So Upadesha means instructions, Amrita means nectar. So nectar of instruction, and Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is nectar of devotion. Okay, so these two books, Prabhupada gave us the commentaries, beautiful commentaries, in depth. So it is so full of taste, actually. I mean, it's so hard for us to digest. But as we keep hearing, we'll get used to it, and we'll know how deep, I mean, like how much bhakti is so sweet and everything. We'll try to understand. Okay, and Vidakta Madhava and Lalita Madhava. Vidakta Madhava contains the pastimes of Krishna with the gopis in Vrindavan and everything in Vrindavan. And Lalita Madhava is about Krishna with the queens of Dwaraka. Okay, so these are the four main books, and Rupa Goswami also wrote many other books. Okay, so what is the overview? Actually, in this nectar of instruction, we have a total of 11 shlokas. Okay, so what each shloka, I mean, like describes. So 1 to 3 verses, it establishes a foundation for the advancement in bhakti. So how we can advance in bhakti? So what is the prerequisite for that? So verses 4 to 6, how to engage in sadhu sangha. So it's very important for us to be in sadhu sangha. Be it whether we practice bhakti or not is secondary, but always be in sadhu sangha. Somehow be in sadhu sangha, because being in sadhu sangha, you're encouraged to do bhakti. Okay, if you are out of sadhu sangha, you're out of bhakti. That's all. You're in maya. That's it. Okay, so verses 7 to 8. engaging the tongue and mind in chanting about and remembering Krishna, which is very, very important, which is the essence of bhakti. And Prabhupada says 99% of our spiritual progress depends only on chanting. Okay, Prabhupada and his Guru Maharaj, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Swami, they encourage so much on chanting. So one time a disciple complains to Prabhupada and both, I mean, the situation comes and his Guru, they complain that "Oh, Guru Maharaj, this person, all the day he's just eating and chanting, that's all, he's not doing any other seva. Then his Guru Maharaj said, see, are you ready to do chanting 24 hours? If you are ready to do chanting, I will give you complete shelter. I will give you clothing. I will give you shelter, place to live. I will give you food to eat. Will you do it? Will you do 24 hours of chanting? Then he kept quiet. See, for us, just to do the 16 rounds, minimum 16 rounds itself, we are like, when it will be over, when it will be over. Okay, so actually, but our goal of life is chanting, chanting, chanting 24 hours. So in Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Satatam Kirtayanto Mam, Krishna says, always remember my name. It should always be there on the tongue. Okay, so important is chanting for us. So we'll see about that also. And verses 9 to 11, the best devotees and the best places for bhajan. So who are the best examples, the devotees, and where is the best place for bhajan? We'll see that also, okay? So today we'll start with the first sloka. That is, please don't mind. Today I'll try to read and I'll try to take it forward because I don't want to waste much of your time, because as it is, I think it will be a long class today. So I will go ahead and please do the reading for today. From next class, I will surely encourage all of you to read. Okay, please forgive me for that. Okay, thank you so much. Vacho vegam manasakroda vegam jihva vegam udarapasta vegam etan vegan yo vishaheta dhira sarvam apimam prithivim sishyat. So, what are they talking about? The urges they are talking about. Okay, the demands. Okay, vacho vegam. Vacho means speech, the urge to speak. Okay, the next manasa, through mind. Okay, the urge for the mind to I mean, like, the how can we control the mind, the tolerate the mind. And krodha vegam, anger. Okay, jihva, how to control, how to tolerate the tongue. Udara means stomach. Upastha means genitals. Okay, vegam. Etan vegam yo vishaheta. So those, all these urges, those who can control is called a dhira, is called a sober. I mean, he's the right person. Okay, he's called a dhira, sober person, or the right person, correct person. Such a person, what can he do? Sarvam, everywhere. Apimam prithvi sasishyat. So he is a guru. He is eligible to become a guru. He is eligible to make disciples all over the world. Okay, so let's read the translation. A sober person who can tolerate or who can control the urge to speak, the mind's demands, the actions of anger, and the urges of the tongue, belly, and genitals is qualified to make disciples all over the world. Okay, so the main thing is, like, if you want to become unalloyed devotees of the Lord, we have to control our senses, mind. That is, like, we have to become a Goswami. Okay. And now in the first sloka, Rupa Goswami is telling how we can do that, how we can control our senses and mind. What is the best practice for that? Okay. Okay, next let's first go to atonement. So atonement and prayaschitta. So first, I mean, like, why is initially itself atonement or prayaschitta is given? Okay, actually, Parikshit Maharaj, this is given in Srimad Bhagavatam. Let's get back. I mean, like, there's a small story. Actually, Parikshit Maharaj asked Sukadev Goswami a question. Okay, why do people undergo atonement, prayaschitta, if they cannot control their senses? What is the benefit? Okay, actually, this is the question he asks. 1 second. So in Srimad Bhagavatam 6.1.9 to 10, Parikshit Maharaj placed a number of intelligent questions before Sukadev Goswami. So one of these questions was, why do people undergo atonement if they cannot control their senses? So this is the question he asks. So why do people undergo atonement? See, generally, what do people think? See, if we do something sinful, to counteract that, for the Vedas, there are many ways where we can go to the Vedas and we can counteract that sin by performing some yajna or something, some sacrifice or whatever, some hardship or whatever. But you can somehow nullify, they think. I mean, you can nullify and you will get cleared of all your sinful activities. Okay, so then why, so it is gone, right? Then why is Parikshit Maharaj asking, why do we have to control our senses? By doing atonement, our sin is getting over, right? Then why is Parikshit Maharaj again asking, why do we have to control our senses? So let's see that. Why is Parikshit Maharaj asking that? He's giving an example. See, a thief, example of a thief. See, a thief may know perfectly well that he may be arrested for stealing. Okay, so when he hears, he knows through the shastras or whatever, through common people or outside, he knows that by stealing he will be arrested, and he may actually have seen a thief arrested by the police. Okay, but still he continues to steal. So here we have different types of experiences. Okay, so one experience is a thief, he may is gathered by hearing and seeing. Okay, so actually, an intelligent person, what he does, only by hearing and seeing, he will understand. Oh, okay. So doing this is bad. Stealing is bad. Okay, no, I should not do it. He is the most intelligent person. And what will one who is less intelligent do? He wants to gain experience. Okay, so he gains experience by seeing. Like he personally, he does the theft. Okay, I mean, like he knows, he hears and he sees, but still he neglects. Then somehow he does the theft and then he gets caught. Then he understands, oh my God, I mean, like I should not do this next time. This punishment is like, I can't, I should not do it. And then he understands and he comes out. That is a less intelligent person. Okay, and what is the last? A fool. What does he do? Even though like he goes to the jail, he gets punished, still he doesn't get realized. So he doesn't realize, he sees, he hears, he personally experiences it also. He goes to the jail and he comes out and again he starts stealing because he's under the impression that, oh, I will not be caught every time. I will think out of a way how I can escape. Not every time I'll be caught, right? So with that understanding, he again starts stealing. So that's why Parikshit Maharaj is asking, see, actually, why a thief is put in jail? So that when he comes out, he doesn't steal again. It's like a punishment for him. So that is the atonement for him. For a thief, because he's stealing, the police have caught him and put him in jail as punishment so that when he comes out, he will lead a good life so that he will not commit stealing again. But what if he's coming out again and after knowing also, after undergoing the punishment, atonement also, he's coming out and he's again doing the same theft. So Parikshit Maharaj is asking, what is the use of such atonement? He's anyway still doing the sinful act again. Okay, so Parikshit Maharaj is asking. So he's saying that he's telling Sukadev Goswami, see, this is like elephants bathing. See, what does an elephant do? The elephant, it goes into the river and the Mahat is there, right? He gives a nice bath to the elephant. But as soon as the elephant comes back to the bank, it again takes dirt and throws mud and throws it all over its body. Because that's the swabhava of the elephant. It doesn't like to be clean. Okay, so what it does, it again throws mud all over the body. So then, what then is the value of its bathing? Okay, so and one more example Prabhupada gives, like many spiritual practices, like devotees like us, they chant the Hare Krishna mantra and at the same time they commit many sinful acts. What do they think? If I chant, my whatever sinful activities that I'm doing will be counteracted. So I can sin and then to counteract I can chant. Okay, but that is a great offense. See, we have done 10 offenses to chanting. So in that, one of the offense is committing sinful activities on the strength of chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Okay, so we should not chant because chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra is only for spiritual purposes. Okay, if you think that your whatever sinful material activities that you are doing, it can actually, but you should not do it with that intention. It can give you much, much more, something much more. So we should not misuse our chanting. Okay, misuse the holy name for such sinful acts. Okay, so it is an offense, so we should not use it. And also, one more example Prabhupada gives. Okay, certain Christians, what do? They go to the church. Okay, they confess their sins before a priest. Okay, and they perform some penance. Okay, so actually, they'll come on a Saturday, they sit before the priest, and whatever during the week, whatever sinful acts they have committed during that week, they confess before the priest, and they do some prayaschitta, some atonement. Okay, and thinking that their sins, for whatever sins they have done for that week, will be forgiven. And again, Sunday, again they will start as usual performing their sins again. Again, next week they will come and again they will sit before the priest. Again they will confess. Again they will atone. See, even God is merciful. Yeah, true. What you all say is correct. He is very merciful. See, once, twice, thrice, 4 times, He will surely forgive us. But if you repetitively every week, every Saturday you go and confess, see, even God will be frustrated, right? There is no change in him. I keep forgiving every week. Again he commits sins. Again he's coming. So he is not feeling that change. God also feels, oh, this person is not changing. He is just coming to compensate every day. Okay. So there is no real prayaschitta coming from, no change in his behavior. Okay, so that's why here Parikshit Maharaj is asking, see, what is the use of such atonement when there is no change in that, when we are, because of that punishment, there is no change in that person. What is the use of such punishment, such atonement? Okay, so here Sukadev Goswami, who is the spiritual master of Parikshit Maharaj, he says that yes, Parikshit Maharaj, what you say is correct. Actually, atonement is not the correct answer. Okay, a sinful activity cannot be counteracted by a pious activity. So, what we generally think when we do something sinful, if we do some atonement or a pious activity, that sinful activity will get nullified. Okay, but that is not the fact. That is what even Sukadev Goswami is telling. Okay, but so then what is the real prayaschitta? Okay, 1 second. Let's go to the PPT. Sorry. Actually, we don't need the slides as a fact. If we just read the purport, that should be enough actually. Everything is there from the purport is put in the PPT. So this is the what is the real atonement? So we have to come to the knowledge. So by mystical yoga process and bhakti is the easiest. So we'll see that going back to the purport here. Okay, so the real prayaschitta or atonement is awakening of our dormant Krishna consciousness. So actually the thing is that change has to come from within. So it has to be that sinful activity or the tendency to sin should come, it should be uprooted from within, from the base, from the root, it should be uprooted. Okay, then that is the real atonement. So the total sinful tendency should be eradicated. So that is the real prayaschitta. So how can that happen? Okay, that can happen only by awakening of our dormant Krishna consciousness. See, all of us have that dormant Krishna consciousness within us. It is there. It is not that you have to get it from outside. So it is in a sleeping mode. It is already inside us. So the only way I think all of you know the process of how we can awaken that dormant Krishna consciousness is by chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. Okay, so real atonement involves coming to real knowledge. Okay, and what is that real knowledge? Is awakening our dormant Krishna consciousness. And for this, for everything, well, there is a standard process. Okay, see, if you don't want to fall sick, you have to follow a process. You have to eat healthy, right? Right from morning, you drink a lot of water, you eat fruits, you eat vegetable salads. So you follow a strict process, hygienic process, so that you don't fall sick. So there's a process for that. Okay, like that, a human being, he has to be trained according to certain principles to regain that dormant consciousness, Krishna consciousness, to revive his original knowledge. Okay, so that is called tapasya. See, this human life is actually meant to do tapasya. Okay, so but it's not meant for sense gratification like all the material people think. Generally, what is the goal of a material person? If you ask him, I want to be the number one richest person. So their goal is they want to earn money and lead a comfortable life. For them, that is the tapasya, but that is not what the human life is meant for. Okay, the human life is meant for to get liberated from your. I mean, like we know that Krishna himself says that this is dukkhalayam ashashvatam. So the human life, after many janmas, we get. See, after 86 lakhs, approximately 85 lakhs, we get this rare human janma, right? And then you have to use it in a better way, not like how animals, we are even behaving worse than animals. So animals, they don't have the knowledge, so they'll behave like animals. But even we have that higher consciousness where we can think, oh, who are we? Why are we suffering? So why do I have to get insulted? Like why do I have to suffer? And why do I have to become old? I don't like becoming old. Why do I have to become old? I don't like to get disease. Why do I get disease? Like that, we have questions to all these answers. So human being is the only person who can question. Okay, so they are meant to do tapasya. So if in the human life they behave like animals and they don't do tapasya, it's like they are wasting their human life. God will ask once your human life is over. See, you wasted this human life being worse than behaving less than an animal. So why should I give you in the next janma a human life? And He will not give you. Okay, so it's best for us to utilize this human form, do tapasya. Okay, to follow regulative principles of bhakti, follow some do's and don'ts. That is tapasya. Do ekadasi, no illicit sex, no non-veg, eating non-veg, no intoxication, no gambling. Okay, but actually, all these, I mean, like rules and regulations, they sound I mean, it's very easy if you follow. No eating, no onion, garlic, no tea, coffee. Okay, it's so practical. I mean, it's these are like Prabhupada says, these are to be followed by a gentleman, normal person, not a devotee. Actually, Prabhupada says. Okay, so there is a tapasya. You have to lead a life in a disciplined way. That is called tapasya. Okay, with some rules and following some rules and regulations. That is meant for a human being. That is tapasya. Okay, when you do that tapasya, you can be gradually elevated to the standard of real knowledge. Or what is the real knowledge? It is Krishna consciousness. Okay, so one process, what they are saying is by practicing. Actually, that is tapasya. Is tapasya. So one can be gradually elevated to the standard of real knowledge. How? Krishna consciousness, how? By practicing austerity and celibacy, by controlling the mind, by controlling the senses, by giving up one's position in charity, by being outwardly truthful, by keeping clean, and by practicing yogasanas. So to read this itself was so difficult for us, right? So can anybody in Kali Yuga practice this actually mystical yoga process? Right? I'll tell you, I mean, like you all must be knowing, but I'll just show you what this mystical yoga process is. Prabhupada says, like, one is this mystical process. That is, okay. See, the mystical yoga process that Prabhupada is referring to is the Ashtanga Yoga, which all of you read, right, in the previous chapter, Dhyana Yoga. So, what is Ashtanga Yoga? It's the eightfold mystic yoga system. So, what do they do? They do over there. They control the body, the senses, mind, life, air. Okay, so that the yogi he can concentrate on Paramatma, the super soul within the heart, right? So he performs all these. What are all those? See, yama, niyama, some rules and restrictions. No illicit sex, meat eating, intoxication, gambling, honesty. So he has to follow all these. See, asana, like he has to sit straight with his back straight, no bending, no this thing. Okay, pranayama, he has to control his breath. Okay, pratyahara, withdrawing the senses. Like artificially, he has to withdraw his senses and I mean, he literally has to suppress them, and we all know how difficult it is for the for us to control our senses and from the objects, right? Our mind and senses from the objects, where and especially when you control them, they come out with much more force. So they do that, and the dharana is they have to at the same time what they have to do, they have to fix their mind on super soul who is in the heart, Paramatma. So dhyana is like deep meditation on the four-armed Vishnu within the heart, and samadhi is like the full trance, like then full samadhi. They're totally, their mind, their senses, everything is on the super soul. And why Prabhupada calls it mystical? Because a perfect yogi, I mean, a yogi who is perfect, who has achieved the highest perfection in Ashtanga yoga, he gets all these siddhis. So you must have heard there are Ashtasiddhis. Anima is Anima, Lagima, Prapti, etc. Like that. There are 8 siddhis. So the siddhis means they can do anything. Like Anima means they can become so small. Lagima means they can become very light. Okay, Prapti means from they can obtain anything. They can just put their, they can sit here and they can obtain anything which is in the next country. Anything if they want from there, they can bring. Okay, but this is not the goal. See, these are all byproducts. Okay, but that is not the goal. See, if you see a devotee, he is not bothered about all these. These are all byproducts. See, a devotee, he is not bothered about liberation also. So mukti just stands at the feet of the devotee asking, please, please take the liberation, please. It stands in front of the devotee and it begs, please, please take mukti, please. He says, no, I'm not at all interested in you. What is the devotee interested in? He wants the love of God. That is why we chant. We don't do bhakti to get liberated. And that is why our Hare Krishna mantra is very special, unlike other mantras. That is why it is called the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. It gives us that rare love of God, which no other mantra gives. Liberation is just a byproduct. Nobody, a devotee is not bothered about that. So here also, a yogi, he gets all these siddhis, okay? So, but that is not the goal. These are just byproducts. That is not the goal. What is the real aim? Is God realization by fixing the mind on Vishnu. So that is the main thing. So, but what is the best process, even best process than Ashtanga Yoga, mystical yoga? What is the process? So Prabhupada praises, actually he says this mystical yoga process is good. He says, okay, fine, you can achieve God through this process, but he says it is extremely difficult in the present Kali Yuga. Okay, to sit in a secluded place, to control the mind and senses, and practice pranayama. So this is not possible for the ordinary man nowadays. Can he, I mean, like sit, like, can we just peacefully for 5 minutes sit in a place, I mean, room and focus our mind, control our mind and senses and do pranayama? It's very difficult, not possible. Okay, actually, Arjuna says, right? So it's so difficult for me to, in 6.33, that's what Arjuna says to Krishna. It is so difficult for me to control my mind. It's easy to, maybe it is easy to control the wind. Actually, it is not easy to control the wind, but Arjuna says, maybe I can control, maybe I can control the wind also, but I can't control the mind. So, how can we? Okay, so to sit in a secluded place, control the mind and senses. That's what Prabhupada says. It is not practical for Kali Yuga. So we can't go to a secluded place. And first of all, there's no secluded place. And you can't control the mind and senses. Okay, and practice pranayama. And this is not possible for ordinary man. So therefore, what does Krishna say? Finally then, He gives in Bhagavad Gita 6.47, he says, Bhakti Yoga is the best of all yogis. The devotee who always thinks of me and renders devotional service is the highest. Okay, so what is the real knowledge? The real knowledge, see, even through mystical yoga, you can get God. True, Prabhupada appreciates it, but he says it is not practical. It is difficult for this age of Kali Yuga. Okay, you can't follow all those Ashtanga yoga, the rules and regulations which are so difficult. You have to twist your head this side, your hands upside down. You saw all those pictures, right? In Dhyana yoga, whatnot they all do, right? In L2 and L1, we saw the pictures. So that is very difficult for a common man to practice all that. So he said, what is practical is Bhakti yoga is very easy to practice in Kali Yuga. You can do it anywhere, anytime. See, chanting, does it require any particular place, any particular time? No, right? So you can do chanting anywhere. And that is the, what do you say, practice of Kali Yuga. Sankirtana Yagna is the practice. So that is what we have to do. And that is so easy. You can do it anywhere, anytime, anywhere. Right? So that's what Prabhupada says. Yeah, true. Through mystical yoga, we can go through God, but it is not practical. Since it is difficult, it is time taking, it is tedious, it is difficult. So practically, it is not possible. So we can get that knowledge, Krishna consciousness, practically by through bhakti yoga. See, to control the mind and senses is very difficult. See, to suppress the mind and no, I don't want to think about this person. See, all this while these persons, they were in the material world. They were using their senses and mind. So they will still remember the songs of whatever they have seen in the movies. No. Now I will not remember. Now I will not remember. Rama, I will not remember. Not this, not this. I will not eat this food. I will control. So it is very difficult. But what are we doing in Bhakti Yoga? The same, we are not controlling the mind and senses. What are we doing? We are giving the senses a positive engagement. So how? We are, we are chanting. So we are hearing, chanting, we are worshipping the Lord, we are doing service. Okay, which is very practical. Okay, we are diverting the mind from the material activities to spiritual activities, which is very easy, right? See, you all must have had that practical experience. So you don't remember anything material. See, when you're in the temple doing cooking seva, you are cutting vegetables. You are in the consciousness that you're are cutting for Krishna, right? You don't think something about material at that time. So automatically the senses are engaged in that. Your hand is used for cutting. Your eyes are used for seeing that vegetable, for cutting for the Lord. Okay, so everything like that. So all the senses are automatically engaged. So Prabhupada says thus it is the best and most practical for this age. So mystical yoga processes the classical Ashtanga eightfold yoga system of sense control, meditation, and samadhi on the super soul. Okay, what is Bhakti Yoga? Bhakti Yoga is nothing but loving devotional service to Krishna, which achieves the goal of mystical yoga. Okay, it includes mystical yoga also. Why? There is constant remembrance of the Lord. Okay, we are engaging our senses, right, in the service of the Lord, but without the austerities of solitary meditation. So, how many austerities? It's not practical, right? You have to sit straight. You have to put your eyebrows between the center of this thing. You have to do pranayama. See, all this, they have to do what is that? Shat chakra, bring the life air from bottom till the top. See, all that is not practical. It's very austere. So, but we are doing the mystical yoga and bhakti yoga, we are engaging our senses directly in the service of the Lord. Okay. So, therefore, Prabhupada repeatedly he declares that bhakti yoga is the highest and the easiest yoga system, especially for Kali Yuga. Okay. So, okay. So, this is the thing now. And this is recommended by, this easy process is being recommended by Srila Rupa Goswami. Okay, so now let's come to each of the Vegas. Now the first is Vacho Vegam. Okay, so first one must control his speaking power. Okay, every one of us has the power of speech. As soon as we get an opportunity, we begin to speak. So what do we do? See, if two people are talking, so even though they don't ask our advice, we keep listening to them. it's like we have that urge to speak, even though they don't ask. We jump in as if we know everything, and we are competent to get in between, and we are so inquisitive to speak out. So we jump in and we give our this thing what we want to speak. Okay, so that is not. I mean, like that is how we are. Like we speak all material, mundane topics, irrelevant topics. Okay, so if we do not speak about Krishna consciousness, we speak about all sorts of nonsense. Okay, so what is Prabhupada saying here? What all you speak in this material world, mundane topics, if there is no Krishna in it, it is all nonsense. We are speaking nonsense. That's it. It is like a croaking of a toad. Okay, a toad in a field, it speaks by croaking. So a toad, it croaks, right? And similarly, everybody who has a tongue, they also want to speak. Like how you see a frog, it always keeps croaking. Like that, all of us, we have that urge to speak, whether it is needed or not, we just speak. And that too, what we speak is like nonsense again. It's not something useful again. Okay. See, the croaking of a toad, if it is, I mean, like for a good purpose, it is okay. But what it is inviting, by the croaking of a toad, it is simply inviting the snake. Oh, come, please come, and please come and eat me. Okay. So it is like inviting its own death. Okay, the toad may be croaking, it may be calling its friend for some purpose, or it may be calling a she frog or something to attract a she frog. It's croaking or whatever, but it's still croaking, right? So that sound, the snake comes to know because of the croaking. Oh, here is the toad, and then it comes and eats it. Okay, so here the talking of the materialistic men and impersonalist Mayavadi philosophers may be compared to croaking of frogs. Okay, so these people, this is main, okay, Prabhupada is saying, what is this croaking compared to? The talking of materialistic men and impersonalist Mayavadi philosophers. Okay, let's see what that is. Okay, so generally, Vacho Begum, see, we talk so much mundane topics that, see, suppose you're on a phone, okay? So actually, Prabhupada defines it as what is Vacho Begum? As uncontrolled desire to talk nonsense, to speak material topics that do not help spiritual advancement. Okay, now, like few examples, like which we see in the mundane things. See, when we call somebody, what do we talk? We talk some rubbish. That talking itself is rubbish. And even after talking that rubbish, we say, what else? What else? What more? Still we want to talk rubbish. We have talked so much rubbish, wasting half an hour, 1 hour talking. Still we say, tell what more? What did you eat? Then to time pass, again they will, even rubbish they will talk. What else? What more? Like that. You must have experienced all this. Okay. And we've seen like even some old people, see, old people especially, they should have the tendency to do bhakti because they have retired and responsibilities are over. But we've seen in big apartments, they form a club and they waste their time in gossip. They sit in a group and they talk about politics, movies, sports. They do, they waste their time in gossip. That is prajalpa, unwanted talk. Okay, about politics, sports, movies, and they play antakshari. They have this laughing club also. They sit together and waste their time laughing. They don't understand that death is approaching them. They're old people. It's high time they practice bhakti, but they will be whole day, they will be either this they'll be doing, or they'll be sitting in front of the TVs and watching serials or whatnot nonsense they will be watching on the internet and everything. Okay, so they waste their valuable time. And some people, they go to the temple, very nice. We may think, oh, these people are going to the temple, such spiritual people. But what do they do going to the temple? There also again they gossip. I have personally, I mean, like, seen when we go to Tirupati, at least what we generally do now, we chant the Hare Krishna mantra. When we climb the steps to Balaji, right? Or to Lord Venkateshwara, all the steps we have to climb and go, right? So meanwhile, what now we do is we carry the japa bag and we keep chanting, and then till we finish all the steps, we are chanting. But when I was chanting, I see all the people, they are talking, hey, I got this dress stitched there. I got this gold necklace there. I bought this sari from there. This is what they talk there also, coming to the temple. See? At least the hardly they spend half a day in the temple over there. That half a day also they cannot control their speech. In the temple also they will say, this is what I did. This, my son got a job. He went to the US. He called me. He bought this property over there. So this is what they talk. I mean, like hardly, very rarely you find people who are totally devoted to the Lord. They think about the Lord, at least when they come to the temple. And in some cases, you know what they discuss, these ladies, they come to the temple and they say, oh, last week, you know, in our neighboring house, I mean, like, these, mother-in-law and this daughter-in-law, they fought, you know, like this, it happened. Oh, I forgot because I didn't come to the temple now. That's why I didn't get the updates. See, that is why they come to the temple, it seems. To know what happened in somebody's house, they fought, they did this, they got that. So they don't come to the temple to see the Lord. They come to the temple to get these updates, to do all this mundane gossip. Okay, and in our real life also, we use our speech for what? Unnecessary arguments and fights. So you should just put a stop to the arguments. See, you say one thing, the next person, material person, he will say, I'm not less than you. I will tell something more. And all these arguments is just like unnecessary talks, unnecessary arguments and fights. Okay. So what does Prabhupada write? Okay. So he says that the talking of a materialistic men and impersonal Mayavadi philosophers may be compared to croaking of frogs. Why? See, the frogs, they keep croaking day and night. Okay. And at any moment, a snake can come and swallow them, swallow the frog. Right? Similarly, he's saying the words of philosophers like material men, okay, and these impersonalist Mayavadis, they talk in such a way that they're simply inviting death. Like how, see, let's see the meaning of the analogy. See, frog croaking is how it is compared. Like these jnanis, like what impersonalist Mayavadis or materialistic men. See, the Mayavadi philosophers, they deny the Lord, existence of the Lord. So these Mayavadi philosophers, all of you know, right? So they don't believe in the personal form of the Lord. They say that the God is impersonal and we are God. We merge into God and we become God. So they keep talking all this nonsense. And what do the mundane people? They gossip, right? They gossip about sports, they gossip about movies, they gossip about TV programs, sports, all these, okay, the things that go on. Of what do you say? Mm, the famous thing, what do you, okay, whatever, all these mundane nonsense things they keep. And what is the snake of death? Snake of death is Kala. Like how the snake is, when it hears the frog croaking, it comes in the form of death. So what is death for us? Snake of death, it is Kala. So the time comes. So when the time comes, obviously all of us have to be devoured by time, right? We get death at certain point of time. And what is the sound attracting the snake? The frog does that karra sound. So what is that sound that these impersonalists and these mundane people are doing? They're talking nonsense. So okay, every vibration of material talk strengthens material consciousness. See, the more they are talking about material nonsense, they are talking. So the more they are talking about material things, it is indicating, it is giving a more strength to them. It is like they're getting attached to this material consciousness. So they're getting more attached to this material world. So what does it indicate? So when you're more attached to this material world, it means that even after you die in this world, because you have attachment to this world, you will again come back to this material world, right? So that's why they're saying these people, because they're useless talk, they talk about material things, so they are attached to this material world, because of which after death again they come back. Okay, they come back and they repeatedly they are in the cycle of birth and death. These material people, unless they're fortunate, they come in the association of a devotee and then they start doing bhakti. They can be liberated, but otherwise, because of their material, mundane, waste, gossip talk, useless talk, they are attached to this material world, because of which they have to, even after death, they have to come back and take move in the cycle of birth and death. So what is Prabhupada trying to tell? See, the materialists, what do? They talk endlessly of world affairs, money, relationships, entertainment. See, what do generally people talk, right? Our parents or anybody, what do they talk about? These only, right? What happened in news, what happened in this serial, what happened in that movie, something about beauty, all these nonsense things they'll be talking about. Money. Oh, how much money are you earning? How much money did you put in that property? And relationships also. How is this girl? How is your mother-in-law? What are, so like that they'll be talking. How is your mother-in-law treating? How is your sister? How is your job? So entertainment, like which movie shall we go? This movie is very nice. It has got nice collection. Let's go there. See, this is what the materialistic stop. Well, see the new restaurant open. Let's go there. Okay, so like this they talk. But what about the Mayavadis? They talk endlessly of dry speculation. What do they say? We just saw, right? God is impersonal. They say finally they merge into Brahmajyoti and they say, I am God. See, such useless talk. See, when they see that God is personal through, especially through the Srimad Bhagavatam, we can see God interacts with the devotees. Even then, they don't believe God as a person. So they'll be talking uselessly. So both kinds of speech are actually nonsense. So because they neither glorify Krishna nor they awaken devotion. Okay, so such talks keep one bound to the material world because they're talking materialistic things and nonsense. So they are bound to this material world. So they are so stuck to this material world, attached to this material world, because of which death is unavoidable. So even if they die, they're forced to come back because they're attached. So where we are attached, obviously we have to come back, right? So because of which they again come back and they're rotating in this cycle of birth and death. Okay, so, and one more practice they do is this. Okay. Okay, so they are always speaking nonsense and thus inviting death to catch them. So, and what else do these people do? Controlling speech. However, does not mean self-imposed silence. The external process of mauna, as Mayavadi philosophers think, silence may appear helpful for some time, but ultimately it proves a failure. Okay, so some people they think, um, okay, yeah. See, the practice, they try to control their speech. They don't talk at all. See, actually, for the material people, Mauna is better because once they open their mouth, what they talk is nonsense. So, rather than talking that nonsense, it is better they do Mauna. In a way, that is better. Okay, but what is actual Mauna? So even these Mayavadi philosophers, they follow Mauna. I mean, like they don't speak. Okay, the practice called Mauna, followed by many Mayavadi philosophers, that is not the real meaning of controlling speech. Okay, silence means not speaking nonsense. Prabhupada says this. See, being silent means not speaking nonsense, speaking about glorifying the Supreme Lord Krishna. Okay, that is silence. Okay, only those who really have to keep shut is the material people. Literal meaning of silence. Because it's better, like instead of at least they speak nonsense, keeping calm is better. I mean, silent is better. But for devotees, silence means not talking something mundane and just talking about, not talking nonsense, just talking about the Lord. Anything about the Lord, preaching about the Lord, distributing book distribution, prasadam distribution, whatever, cooking for the Lord, like that. Anything. Okay, we should use our voice like for kirtan, for preaching. Okay, such ways we can use for glorifying the Supreme Lord. Okay. So why is the silence incomplete? See, the Mayavadis, they try to stop all talk. Okay. okay, when they don't talk, they and think that liberation comes by becoming quiet. They think that liberation comes by becoming quiet and merging into the impersonal Brahman. Okay, they don't talk, they control their mind and senses and everything. See, but how long? See, Prabhupada says this is only an external repression. Okay, why? See, when you try to control the tongue, what happens? You cannot forcefully stop the tongue. So the tongue's natural function is to vibrate, to give sound. See, if you suppress it, material talk will eventually reappear with much force. Okay, you can never compress, I mean, like suppress it. See, the mind, the senses, and these tongues, what is it is meant, it is meant for that. You have to, it has a certain duty to perform. So you should allow it to do that duty. Okay, but positively, not negatively. Okay, give it a nice activity. Okay, but suppressing never works, even for the mind or for senses, for anything you take, you can never suppress artificially. Okay, so that's what Prabhupada is saying. See, if you try to artificially control the tongue, just keep quiet. So you will come back, these Mayavadi philosophers, they'll come back and they'll talk with much, much more force. Okay, so suppressing it is not the alternative. Just keeping silent the tongue and not talking is not the solution. So, but what is the alternative? Give positive control of speech. Okay, so what is real control or what is real positive engagement? Giving the tongue a chance to chant Hare Krishna, reading and speaking Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, discussing topics of Krishna consciousness. Okay, so when the tongue is used in Krishna's service, the urge to speak is satisfied and purified. Okay, the tongue anyway has to speak, right? So that is one of the function of the tongue. Tongue, it is used for tasting and it is used for speaking. So now, instead of speaking material mundane things, which invite us to death because of material attachment, so we speak about Krishna, because of which we get liberated. It's a good thing, right? Instead of getting attached and being in this material world, we are just changing the topic. We're just talking about Krishna and we are getting liberated. If you talk about material things, you are still, because you are attached, you stay in this material world. See? What is a small difference can bring a change in a living entity. Okay, so in essence, according to Prabhupada, what he is saying, controlling speech means stopping useless. See, it's not totally keeping mauna and writing on a slate or a piece of paper and telling. No, it means stopping useless or material talk and dedicating for your voice for Krishna's glorification, not just simply sitting like a stone and wasting valuable time. So that is not what mauna means. I mean, like when you sit with your closed mouth, closed shut, you're wasting time. But if you use that same tongue for glorifying Krishna and not talking nonsense, you get liberated. Right? So that is the thing. So, what is the meaning of controlled speech conveyed by Srila Rupa Goswami? He advocates the positive process of Krishna Katha, engaging in the speaking process in glorifying the Supreme Lord Krishna. The tongue can thus glorify the name for qualities, pastimes of the Lord. Okay, the preacher of Krishna Katha is always beyond the clutches of death. Okay, so this is the significance of controlling the urge to speak. So we saw, right? So how the urge to speak can be controlled. We saw here now how we can positively engage the speech rather than how the Mayavadis use, how the materialists use, we've seen. But the same thing how the devotees use can convert it by talking about Krishna, how the materialists use it, mundane gossip, how the impersonalists use it, they say that we are God, there is God is impersonal, they talk useless. So both these people talk useless things, but the devotee, he talks about the Lord. Okay, but not devotee, anybody like normal mundane person or anybody who uses his tongue to talk about the Lord, he engages, he gives a positive engagement to the tongue, and finally you get liberated because of that positive change. Okay, so that is the how you can control the urge to speech, I mean to talk. Okay, by engaging your tongue in Krishna Katha. Okay, so next is mind. So restlessness, see, we'll go through the PPT first. We'll just read the purport, because what is there in the purport is covered in the PPT. Okay, seeing the purport only, they made the PPT. So let's go in the end to the PPT. Okay, so let's complete with the purport. So because I want you to understand in detail first, then PPT we can just skip fast because we'll cover the points here, right? So we'll see that in the end. Okay, so next is Manovega. So first is Vachavega we completed, now is Manovega. So the restlessness or fickleness of the mind, Manovega, is controlled when one can fix his mind on the lotus feet of Krishna. Okay. Okay. So when the mind is fixed on the lotus feet of Krishna, it can be controlled. So Manovega means the urge of the mind. See, the problem, what is the problem? See, the mind, like the mind is by nature restless and flickering. Arjuna says, right? We saw in the Bhagavad Gita 6.34, he says, Chanchalam hi mana Krishna. So the mind, it constantly keeps jumping from one thought to another. Okay, so it has all these thoughts like, oh, I want this, and then it has all the fears, it has all the plans. Oh, this I want to, I'm planning to do this, this job, I'm planning to, you plan everything, right? And it worries. All it's so the mind is like it's what all a bundle of desires, fears, plans, worries. So it keeps constantly jumping. It is never like steady. Okay, so if left uncontrolled, it drags the senses towards material enjoyment. So creating karma and repeated birth and death. Okay, so the mind, we've seen in L2, right? The mind, if controlled, is the best friend. If uncontrolled, it's our enemy. Okay, so how can we control? By chanting. So we saw all that, right? But here, let's see. See, left uncontrolled, it drags the senses towards material enjoyment. Okay, an uncontrolled mind is like, because it is not controlled, there is no intelligence. So it drags you to Maya. It drags you to sense gratification, to your enjoyment. So when you do things for your enjoyment, there is karma, right? You are creating karma. Okay, because the result, whatever you do, bad or good, you have to accept, right, for that activity that you're doing, because of which you have to suffer or enjoy, for which you have to come back, right, come back again to this material world to suffer or enjoy whatever the results that you of the activities that you do. Okay, so what is the solution for that? If you don't want that to happen, if you want the mind to be stable, okay, what you have to do is fixing the mind on Krishna's lotus feet. Okay, so control of Manovegam does not mean you forcefully suppress. See, earlier also we discussed that nothing by force will work out, or blank meditation. Just meditating on light is, it's impossible. It's very difficult. Maybe it's possible for 1 in 100 or 1 in 1,000 who are rare souls, maybe. But you can't forcefully control your mind, stop the mind, or you just can't meditate blindly on the light, blank meditation. No, you can't. It's very difficult. So the real way to control is give positive engagement to the mind. Okay, Manasa Krishna Padara Vindayo, Padara Vindayo, Bhagavad Gita it is said. So one should fix the mind on the lotus feet of Krishna. Okay, so that is the thing. So how to control the mind? Just give it positive engagement. So put your mind on the lotus feet of Krishna. Okay, by doing Krishna conscious activities. Okay, so the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 22.31 says, Krishna Surya Sama Maya Haya Andhakara Yaha Krishna Taha Nahi Mayara Adhikar. So what is the saying? See, Krishna Surya Sama. So Krishna is like the sun, is like Surya. Maya Haya Andhakar. So Maya is Andhakar, is darkness. Okay, Krishna is sun. Maya is Andhakara, darkness. Yaha Krishna. So where there is Krishna, Taha nahi Maya adhikar. So where Krishna is there, there Maya, what is adhikar, that Maya is not present. Okay, so here, similarly, if Krishna is present in the mind, obviously there's no possibility of Maya getting into us, right? So where there is sunlight, there is no darkness, correct? So where there's Krishna, there's no Maya. So that's what they're saying. So you engage, see, if you make mind your enemy, it's unsteady, then it gets into Maya, that's Maya. But if you engage your mind in Krishna, then it is steady, it is stable. You give it positive engagement, then your mind becomes steady. Okay, then your mind becomes your best friend. Okay, so then if you put Krishna, there is no Maya's influence. Okay, so in this world, you have to understand only things. Anything is, it is either you are in Krishna or in Maya. There is no in between. Okay, you have to understand that. Okay, so you cannot think that, oh, I am Krishna conscious, still I'm enjoying all the material things. That is not possible. See, you in a boat, if there are two boats, you can't put one leg in one boat and one in other boat, and you can't travel. You'll fall down as soon as the boat starts moving. Two boats start moving, right? So that is not possible. Okay, so either you have to be totally spiritual, I mean, like you have to come into one boat, put both the legs in one boat, then you can travel properly. So, what Prabhupada says is like you convert all your material activities to spiritual. So, there is nothing like material in this world. Okay, so you convert all your material activities into spiritual. So, it is like from morning till night, you are doing spiritual activities. Okay, I'll just give a small example. Please don't mind. It will be a long class today. I think it will be more 9 or even more. If it crosses, please let me know. If anybody is finding it difficult, we can stop and we'll continue on the next class. If anybody at any point finds it difficult, please let me know. We'll stop. Okay, or else we'll try to finish sloka 1 today. If at all you're really finding it difficult, we'll continue on the next class. We'll stop. Okay, please stop me. Please don't mind. Okay, please let me know. We'll stop at that time. Okay, so how practically we can convert our material life into spiritual life. Okay, so it is like spiritualized. See, morning you get up, right? First thing you do is you brush your teeth. So don't say that I'm brushing my teeth for myself to clean my teeth. Say that I'm brushing my teeth for Krishna, because whatever I eat, because Krishna is there as Paramatma in my heart, right? He's there as Paramatma in my heart. So whatever I eat through the teeth, it goes inside, right? So it should be clean. So I'm cleaning my teeth for Krishna. So that way you clean. So it's just a matter of bhakti, is just a matter of consciousness. See, all the material things by consciousness, it can be changed to spiritual. So that's what Prabhupada says, that it is not literally you're going to Vrindavan and there only you will get bhakti. So bhakti is consciousness. Being here also at your place, your Chaitanya, if it is there on Vrindavan from here, that is bhakti. You're in Vrindavan. Okay, it's the consciousness that matters. Okay, so morning, then after that you take a bath. Don't say that, oh, I'm taking a bath to make keep my body clean. Okay, say take a bath, saying that, oh, this body is a temple. See, we get up and we put tilakas, 12 tilaka marks on our body. So these tilaka marks are for the protection of our body, right? So we say like Om Vasudevaya Namaha, Om Narayana Namaha, Om Vishnave Namaha, and we put Om Vasudevaya Namaha. We all put all these tilakas on our front, on our chest, on our shoulders, on our back, on our forehead. We put on our throat. We put everywhere. We put, right. So this body is now a temple where Lord resides. Okay, so we should say, oh, generally we keep the temple clean, right? So yeah, Lord is residing. So we have to keep this body because the Lord is residing. So it is Krishnaized. Okay, then we do all the Mangalacharan, we attend the Mangala Arati and all that, right? And then we do our chanting. See, the whole day becomes Krishnaized actually. Then we do our chanting, we read some Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita book, we listen to some speech, and then we prepare some prasadam for breakfast. We offer it to Bhoga and we offer it to the Lord. See, it's a matter of consciousness. Just 10 minutes, whatever breakfast you prepare, you offer it to the Lord with a tulsi on it, and then you honor that prasadam. Okay, and then people who have to go to schools can go to schools, colleges, business, jobs can go, and that work is also spiritualized. When you say Krishna, I am working for you, Okay, so whatever amount of money you get from your job, whatever that thing, you say, I'm giving this much every month for you. I mean, for the Krishna conscious activities. Okay, or that job, maybe you are into ITs, for instance. You can use it, you can help devotees in creating a website for them. So, if you are a painter, like you can paint pictures of Krishna, of anything, like you can, so you can utilize, you can just get involved like that. So you can use your material things for spiritualize it, like you can use it for Krishna. School children, they can be of the consciousness Krishna. I am studying now so that in the future I can get a good job, so that I can do something for Krishna. So with that consciousness, they study. So it is Krishnized. So then again in the evening you come back, again you take a bath, right? So with again you become Krishnized when you take a bath, and then you do the Sandhya Arati, then you again take prasadam, and then before sleeping, Prabhupada again says it's good to read Krishna book because you are filled with memories of Krishna. So then you read the Krishna book and then you sleep. So that's it. It's so easy, right? Very practical also. So the whole day it is like nothing is material now, just spiritual, and you continue the same thing every day, right? So it's so easy. Okay, so let's continue. So next, what are they saying here about the mind? So similarly, that's, see, if Krishna is present in the mind, there's no possibility of the minds being agitated by Maya's influence. So the yogic process of negating all material thoughts will not help. That's what. Okay, so to suppress the mind's thoughts is not helpful. So to try to create a vacuum in the mind is artificial. To keep the mind empty is wrong. You cannot do it. That is artificial. So the vacuum will not remain. Okay, let's see what Prabhupada says. Okay. See, why a mental vacuum is impossible. See, because the mind is active by nature. So Prabhupada often quotes this word, Chanchalam hi mana Krishna. Okay, Bhagavad Gita 6.34. The mind is flickering and it is restless. Okay, because it is always thinking. Even when you're sleeping, mind is active, right? Not forget about when you're awake. Even when you're sleeping, mind is thinking. That's why we get dreams, right? So, because it is always thinking, it cannot remain empty even for a moment. Okay, so artificial negation invites material thoughts. Okay, so if you try to repress the thoughts, you say, no, I don't want to remember, it's not this, not that, neti. If you say, no, I don't want to remember, no, I don't want to do this, like that, the mind, it soon fills with more, it comes out with much more force. The more you try to suppress it, the more with force it will come out with more memories, more desires, more anxieties. Okay, the so-called blank meditation, it collapses. Okay, but what is the positive real engagement? What is real yoga? So Prabhupada explains that real mind control means positive absorption, not voidism, not keeping the mind blank, and you can't do it. Okay, so the mind must be engaged in some thought. Okay, if you don't give it Krishna, it will accept Maya. So Maya means you get attached to the material things, so you keep on moving in this cycle of birth and death. But if you give your mind Krishna, the same thing, same mind will liberate you. It becomes your best friend and it will liberate you. Okay, it's so easy. Okay, however, if one always thinks of Krishna and how to serve Krishna best, one's mind will naturally be controlled. That's what we are seeing. So, next, anger. Similarly, how can anger be controlled? See, we cannot stop anger altogether. Okay, but if we simply become angry with those who blaspheme the Lord or the devotees of the Lord, we control our anger in Krishna consciousness. Okay, so can we stop anger altogether? No, right? It's not possible. But that anger also has to be diverted. Okay, so we have to use it, like anger has to be, I mean, like it should be like in our hands. We should pretend to be angry, but we should really not be angry. See, for instance, see, our child is doing something wrong. Okay, we pretend to be angry. It's like anger it should automatically stop when we want to. Okay, we pretend to be angry, we pretend to shout on our child. It's not like wantedly we are getting angry and that anger continues for 10-15 minutes. No. We pretend to be angry just to correct that child at that moment. So that is how our anger should be positively used. Okay, so when the thing is over, automatically we should stop. When we say anger, please stop, it should stop. So that is controlled anger. Okay, not literally blasting out and he's shouting, you are shouting, and it is like 10-15 minutes, big thing is happening, not like that. Just to change the child's behavior, just act, pretend you're angry, and when that is over, we should, whenever we want to, we should stop it. Whenever we want to, we should bring it out. It should be like that. Okay, but and here what Prabhupada is saying, see, we should use our anger positively. So we should use our anger when somebody blasphemes the Lord or the devotees of the Lord, they're criticizing the devotees of the Lord, then we should, show our anger. Okay, so we control, that is how we control our anger in Krishna consciousness. So actually, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he became angry with the miscreant brothers, Jagai and Madai, who blasphemed and struck Nityananda Prabhu. Okay, so he, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, okay, in his Sikshashtaka, what Lord Chaitanya wrote, Trinadapi Sunechena Tarorapi Sahishnuna. Okay, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said in his Sikshashtaka, the teachings that he wrote. These are the only teachings that 8 verses that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wrote. Okay, so in that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishnuna. So one should be humbler than the grass and more tolerant than a tree. Okay, so you see, if the grass is trampled upon, it does not protest. It does not say, hey, you're stamping me, look out. It does not say. It accepts it. Right? And more tolerant than a tree. The tree, it does not see when we want to pluck fruits and we throw stones at it, it does not protest. And even if there's scorching heat, it does not protest. If it is raining heavily, it does not protest. If there is heavy wind, it does not protest. If it is cold, chilled, it does not protest. So it tolerates. So what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, so one should be humbler. Even that grass, we should be humbler, it seems. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying. That itself is really difficult for us. Okay. And more tolerant than a tree we should be, it seems. But why, one may then ask them, see now earlier, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said like we should be like this. But earlier, why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said he got angry on Jagai and Madai when who blasphemed, Jagai, he takes a pot and hits Nityananda Prabhu on the head and blood starts coming out. Seeing this, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he gets very angry and he asks the Sudarshan Chakra to cut off the neck of Jagai and Madai. Okay, he gets that angry. But now only Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishnuna. You should control, you should be humbler, you should be tolerant. Then why is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showing so much anger again? Okay, so the point we should understand here is that, see, when somebody insults us, we should tolerate that insult. That is for us. Okay, so when somebody does something bad to us, we don't blaspheme, we don't get angry, we tolerate that insult. When it is happening to us, we tolerate. But when Krishna or his pure devotee is blasphemed, then you should get angry. Then you should not say, oh, it's okay, nothing. It's not like that. Okay, so when a devotee is being blasphemed, then we should get angry. And we should act like fire against the offenders. Okay, so krodha, anger, it cannot be stopped, but it can be applied rightly. Okay, in a Krishna conscious way. See, we saw Hanuman also, right? He set fire to Lanka. Okay, but he's worshipped as the greatest devotee of Lord Ramachandra. Okay, so Hanuman, why did he set fire to Lanka? Because Ravana, he captured Sita Devi and he was blaspheming Lord Rama. Okay, criticizing Lord Rama. So that's why he got angry and he set fire to Lanka. So that anger is good. So that is why he is worshipped as the greatest devotee. So anything, any anger, that is transcendental anger. So anger used in the worship of the Lord is a good anger. Okay, for devotees and for the Lord, that is good. Okay, so this means that he utilized his anger in the right way. So another example is Arjuna. Arjuna serves as another example. He was not actually initially he was not willing to fight, but Krishna incited his anger. See, only for a Kshatriya, the blood must boil, right? So he must get that krodha, that power to fight, with that zeal to fight, enthusiasm to fight. So Krishna, he incited this anger. Come on, you are acting like a coward. They all will think of you like this. So you must fight. So like that, Krishna was encouraging. He's giving his, like what do you say, putting fire from beneath so that he can get angry, so that he can fight with that anger. See, otherwise that zeal, that boiling anger, without if you don't have that anger, they don't get that power to fight. So to fight without anger is not possible. So anger is controlled, however, when utilized in the service of the Lord. Okay, so anger becomes controlled. However, when utilized in the, it can be controlled only when it is used in the service of the Lord. So next is what? The urges of the tongue. So we all experience that the tongue wants to eat palatable dishes. Okay, generally, then we should not allow the tongue to eat according to its choice, but should control the tongue by supplying prasada. So generally, what material people, they eat anything and everything. They don't offer anything to the Lord. They don't express their gratitude by offering it to the Lord. Okay, so they say that why all this everything is given by the Lord, so why we should offer it to the Lord? What is the reason? See, it is like this. The Prabhupada gives a small example. See, a father, he brings a box of chocolates to his son, and he says, he calls, okay, so let's say his son's name is Ramu. He says, Ramu, see, I got you this box of chocolates. Then his son says, yay, I'm so happy. Thank you so much, daddy. And he takes the chocolate and he opens the wrapper and he's about to eat it. What he does now, he says, daddy, you have a little bit of it. And now the father, he feels so happy. Oh my God. See, my son is giving me this sweet meat, a chocolate to eat. He feels so happy, right? See, it is actually the son, he didn't buy the chocolates. Nothing he did. He just, like whatever the father got, he just opened it and he gave it to the father. But the father was so happy. Similarly, everything Krishna only gives it. But when we give back to Krishna, he also feels so happy. Oh, my son has given it to me. Oh, he feels so happy. He feels happy that, oh, he's remembered me. Like, whatever tiredness, everything that he had, he forgets. The father, he forgets. And he feels so happy when the son gives him that chocolate to taste. Okay, like that. We also, Krishna feels so happy when we offer it back to Krishna. We remember Krishna. Oh, in remembrance, it's like a gratitude. Okay, we offer to the Lord and then we have it as prasadam. Okay, so like that. Okay, the devotee's attitude is that he will eat only when Krishna gives him prasada. So devotees, wherever they go, even if they go to another friend's place, there also, like obviously the devotees, wherever they are, they offer bhoga to the Lord and they accept prasada. So that way it is like purified, Krishnaized. So Prabhupada says, we are not vegetarians, we are not non-vegetarians, we are Krishnatarians, because whatever we eat, we offer to the Lord and then we eat it. So we are Krishnatarians. We are neither vegetarians nor non-vegetarians. Okay, so like that. So the devotee's attitude is that he will eat only when Krishna gives him prasada. So that is the only way we can control the urge of the tongue. Okay, by giving Krishna prasada. So it gets purified, Krishnaized. So one should take prasada at scheduled times, and eating prasada also we should have at scheduled times. See, if you see in the temple, they have only at only two times a day. The remaining time they're busy with their activities. Krishna conscious activities like book distribution or prasadam distribution or cooking seva or whatever the respective sevas. Okay, priest sevas or dressing seva or whatever, ornament making seva, garland seva, whatever seva they are there. So they just eat twice, morning 10 o'clock and evening, I think 4 or 5, twice. That's it, they have. That's all. Okay, so at scheduled times we have to have, and we should not eat in restaurants. See, practically for people like us, eating 3 times is also more actually, because what the kind of jobs that we do are not are laborious and very tedious. Like we are not farmers who are bending and working in the hot sun and everything like that. Physical labor is not there. We are mostly work in air conditioners, like happily sitting like that, right? So for us, actually, practically talking, 2 times is good for us. Okay, so that's what I said. Um, So that is the way to control the urge of the tongue. So one should take prasada at scheduled times and should not eat in restaurants or sweetmeat shops simply to satisfy the whims of the tongue or the belly. So initially it is okay when a devotee is neophyte in the starting stage. So because he cannot control the urge of the tongue, he may okay go to the restaurant or I mean, like, though it is sattvic, he may go to the restaurant and to some sweet shops because they don't put anything like onion, garlic, and sweets, right? So they can go because they can't control. But gradually, as you deepen yourself in bhakti, so it is always better to avoid going to the restaurants because we have to eat only prasada. So prasada means what? Whatever we cook for the Lord, we offer it to the Lord. Right, because in the restaurant, we don't know what consciousness they are preparing. See, it is said that they put the sweat also in the this thing that we eat. They what clean hands they are using, we don't know. How their hands are, we don't know the hygiene they are using, what consciousness they are using, what items, what stale items they are using, we don't know. And best of all is it's not offered to the Lord. Okay, so that's why we generally, because if you eat that food and you come back, your consciousness changes because it is the consciousness. See, why do we say that the food cooked by mother is so good? It tastes so nice. Even compared to the restaurant, we say my mother's food is so nice because our mother, the consciousness goes into the food. She cooks the food with so much love, right? So that love is there in the cooking. So that because of that consciousness, that taste comes. Okay, so that is the thing. Consciousness plays a vital role. Okay, so that is why we have that food which is offered to the Lord. So if we stick to the principle of taking only prasada, the urges of the belly and the tongue. So belly and tongue. So both is considered. Belly is also like when through the tongue it goes inside the belly, right? Like that. So we'll see what Prabhupada says about belly. Okay. So belly udara means it's like the desire to overeat. Okay, so Prabhupada, he often quotes Rupa Goswami's in that he says, later shlokas we see, Atyaha, so overeating or over collecting. Okay, that's the first item that destroys bhakti. Okay, so overeating leads to disease and dullness of the mind, making spiritual practice difficult. Okay, so here the belly symbolizes the whole chain of uncontrolled senses. Okay, so the belly is one of the thing like where it is uncontrolled. You are seeing all the urges, right? So this is one such thing, the belly. So then we see actually we see this in the PPT. So good mistake for the young and old. So Prabhupada sometimes humorously says that for young people, if they occasionally overeat, it is a good mistake because their digestion is strong and they need nourishment for growth. So young people, even if they sometimes eat extra, it's okay. It's a good mistake, Prabhupada says, because their digestion is strong and they can, and also they need nourishment for growth. But for old people, Prabhupada says the good mistake is to undereat. Yeah, because their digestion it slows, right? It becomes very slow. Practically, it stops. In fact, we should say. So it is to undereat. They have to undereat because excess food burdens the body and it leads to because it doesn't digest it. The germs accumulate and because of which diseases come out. Okay, and then eat to live and not live to eat. Okay, now if you open any YouTube website, I've practically seen there are people who practically put videos of what they eat every daily, every, I mean, like I think every now and then a video of them comes that, especially the non-veg or whatever, or the junk food they eat, they just put whatever they're eating, they put. And they say that, oh, this is how we prepared and this is how we prepared. It tastes so yummy. And the non-veg, we have prepared like this, it is like this. And they show, I mean, like they show it's as if a great victory they have done. So I've seen many videos, many people nowadays, I don't know, it's like on YouTube, you see these videos, they eat, they live to eat, such people. And they put the title also, they live to eat. No, they don't eat, they're not like people who eat to live. For eating is their purpose, that is why they live, such people. They want to enjoy all the delicacies, be it, see, non-veg, I've seen such videos like where continuous all types of non-veg they eat. My God, I was wondering, do they even eat those? Even I've seen people eating ostrich, turkeys, crabs, lizards, insects. Oh my God, frying insects and eating them. Lizards. Okay, and they show a post it and they eat. They eat worms, live worms. I don't know how they eat it. My God. Okay, so such people, they just live. They just want to eat anything and everything they want to eat. That's all. Eating is their purpose. Okay, but devotees, they eat to live. So to maintain, Prabhupada says, right, simple living and high thinking. So the devotees, they just eat to live because they have to maintain, they have to keep their body and soul together, because of which we can carry out in this human form the Krishna conscious activities, right? So for that minimum, we have to eat prasadam, right? Okay. So the devotees, they take only prasadam, food offered to Krishna, in quantities that maintain health for service. So food is for maintaining the body as a servant of the Lord, not for gratifying the tongue. So when we eat, when we just live to eat, it is for our sense gratification that we are eating, because they don't know what is the purpose of life. Okay, so that is why they keep on eating for their sense gratification. But people who eat to live, they have a goal. They don't even sometimes know what they're eating. They just eat in 5-10 minutes, and they again the devotees the rush. Sometimes they don't even have the time to do that. Okay, so this is the difference. People, who have no goal and who are more into sense gratification, who want to enjoy the senses more, they just want to eat, 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 eat. Hours and hours they'll eat. They will maintain, they will go to some far places, they will find a restaurant. Oh, this restaurant, new restaurant, it's good, it seems. Even though there is a big queue, they will stand in that queue. When their turn comes, they will sit and then they will eat, and then only they will come. There is time for them. For that, they will sit, they will waste hours and hours. But if you ask them to come to the temple and listen to a Bhagavatam speech, they say, oh, no, 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 we are very busy. But to go to a restaurant, live in a line queue, waste half a day, they will go. Okay, but for this, they won't have time. Okay. So what is the solution? So what is the solution? Ekadasi, fasting. Prabhupada says we should fast the belly. Like Ekadasi fasting and the festival fast we should do. Why? Why Prabhupada is saying this is a practical solution? See, when you try to do fasting, you see the stomach, it remains, it is empty, and your brain works much faster at that time, because there's no digestion going on in the stomach. So the brain remains active. Okay, so then you are able to do things fast practically. Okay, so what is the principle? See, reduce or skip grains and beans, eat simply, chant, just simple prasadam you have, or fast, chant more. What is the effect? See, it gives the rest the digestive system. So you are not eating anything, so you are giving the rest to the digestive system, because of which it disciplines the tongue and belly. Okay, and then it increases the remembrance of Krishna. So your stomach is now, it is not like you're giving the rest to the digestive system. So the tongue is controlled automatically. Okay, when the tongue is controlled, the remembrance of Krishna is increased. Okay, so by controlling the stomach on Ekadasi, one naturally controls the tongue and like what to eat and the genitals. So it is that it is related. So control, if you control the tongue, automatically you will control the belly and the genitals. That thing is there. Okay, if you control the tongue, what you eat, I mean, like if you do fasting, it naturally controls the tongue, what you eat, and the genitals. There is a direct link. Okay, so that is what I mean. You'll see in the PPT. I will show you when I show that. That is the triangle. So tongue, if the tongue is controlled, belly and genitals are controlled. So control of the first leads to the control of both. Okay, so that is the thing. So regulating eating. Regulated eating purifies the mind, breaks the chain of lower desires, and allows steadiness in chanting. Okay, so because no food right now, full the body is feels so light, and the brain works fast. I mean, it's sharp. So your concentration is also uh, increases. Okay, so finally, what Srila Prabhupada taught that conquering the belly through moderation and sacred fasting like Ekadasi is a gateway to conquering all senses, protecting. It is good for the health also. Fasting sometimes is good for the health also. It is like Krishna conscious way, it is good, and scientifically, health wise also, it is good for us. Okay, and it keeps us conscious of Krishna. So healthily also it is good, and we are at the same time Krishna conscious also. So it is good, right? Like that. Okay, similarly, the urge of the genitals, the sex impulse, can be controlled when not used unnecessarily. See, nowadays, it's this is why what Prabhupada says is the sex life is the most wanted. So, what do these karmis they do? Whole morning they work for money. Night, what they do is just sex and sleeping. That's all. That is why they live. Okay, that is the purpose of their life. They want to work hard during the daytime, earn money, money, money. Night, as they enjoy sex life and they sleep. That's all. That is life for them. Okay, so the genitals should be used. Why? To beget a Krishna conscious child. So we should use the genitals for Krishna. Okay, not for our sense gratification. Okay, for that we get married. Okay, not we should not maintain illicit sex relationship. So to we get married, and then there is a process for that also. Even before they take to conception of the child, there is a process, garbhadana samskara, where before the husband and wife meet, they chant 64 rounds. Both of them chant 64 rounds before they meet also. They prepare their consciousness, they chant 64 rounds. There are some like that, something like that, so that the consciousness of the child develops like that. Okay, so they take permission from the spiritual master. Under his guidelines they follow, and then they do this garbhadan samskara. They meet, and then I mean, like for to get a they get together not for sense gratification, to get a Krishna conscious child. So otherwise it should not be used. It should not be used for a sense gratification, like how the material people they use it every day, they use it. Okay, there should be a restriction normally also for a material person also. If he's not Krishna conscious also, it should be regulated. Okay, the Krishna consciousness movement encourages marriage not for the satisfaction of genitals, but why? You get married because for getting a Krishna conscious child. So what in the Shastras it is said, Prabhupada also says that you should not become a father or a parent or a husband if you cannot make your dependents Krishna conscious. You have no right to get married. You can't accept a wife. You can't beget a child if you can't make them Krishna conscious. Okay, so the main goal is you get married, you make your dependents, you get children, is you make them Krishna conscious. Okay, right from the birth, they keep the lady especially, she keeps chanting because the baby is in the womb, right? It starts hearing from the fourth or the fifth month, I believe. It has develops all the senses, so it can hear. So the mother, she's constantly chanting, she's hearing the Bhagavata, she's reading the Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, all books, spiritual books. Okay, so that the child can hear and he can come out Krishnaized. Okay, like that. But in olden times, like when children they come out, they're a little bit grown up, like 5 years, they are sent to Gurukula school earlier. Till 25 years, they are under they are brahmacharis, right? They are under strict celibacy. Okay, and till 25 years, they know nothing but just education. They just gain knowledge. That's all. Okay, they are trained to become fully Krishna conscious devotees. But nowadays, you see how children, right from the age of 5, because they are used to these phones and everything, they see all, I mean, like these movies, the serials, whatnot, in books, everywhere they see these. In movies, they see all these the heroines doing all such nonsense that celibacy is not there. Um, they know everything about that. I mean, like we didn't know till a certain stage, but children nowadays, even 5 to 10 years, they because they know these mobiles, they come to know of it in early stage, and they are not celibate in the childhood stage itself. Okay, so many people ask during their marriage, they ask, "Are you a virgin?" That's why, which is so. I mean, it sounds so weird actually. Okay. So many such Krishna conscious children are required. So we need more and more such Krishna conscious children. Okay. And one who's capable of bringing forth Krishna conscious offspring is allowed to use his genitals. So if you want, you can use your genitals to produce 100 children, but provided you give them the culture of Krishna consciousness. You can beget 100 children, but make all of them Krishna conscious. That is the goal. Okay, so that is the way you can positively engage your genitals. So when one is fully practiced in the methods of Krishna conscious control, he can become qualified to be a bona fide spiritual master. So shall I stop here for today? What do you all of you say? Hare Krishna.
Okay, Mataji. Okay,
Because
Mataji.
yeah, because from here again, like we have to discuss like what Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said. I know you all are very, I mean, like sincere devotees. I know you all want to interest, but are interested. But I know that you two all to have responsibilities, families, and everybody, right? So I don't want to take more time. So we'll stop here. We'll continue again in the next class because I want to give you the complete information. I just don't want to stop.